Kama Ayala one avyokio mito ya maji, ndivyo ninavyokuonea kio Mungu wangu. Each time I hear Kama Ayala being sung, my first thing is, did the person sing it well? Did the choir sing it well? Or you will see many in the YouTube, they are playing it. Some have tried. My first question is, have they sung it exactly the way it is? Am I satisfied with it? I should say, with all certainty and happily, many who have tried to sing Kama Ayala, even the verses, where did they get the music to keep singing the way it is? One day she challenged us, and I don't forget that. She asked me and my young brother, or she gave us a challenge. She said, whoever of you two is going to cry and shed more tears is going to become a priest. So we started crying, and my brother beat me. He cried more and shed more tears. People don't call me by name when it comes to music. They call me Makoye.
Hello, my dear fantastic viewer from wherever you're watching me. This is Sallies Network. Hapa tunakuletea taarifa, mahojiano na mazungumzo ya kukata na shoka, na nakukaribisha siku hii ya leo. Today here, I'm bringing you a story of a person who is less spoken about and who is less known by many, but has a great impact in our Catholic liturgical music. And this person is also greatly responsible of bringing the Tanzanian Catholic music into the Kenyan music industry. Yes, muziki ambao ulifika na ukakita mizizi, and we still adore it to date. He is also responsible for the song that I recently did and we uploaded here on Sallies Network, and it is also available on our sister channel, that is Sallies Music Media. Yes. And nikifika hapo, that is when I make this call that, remember, there's so many stories on our channel. There's so many stories that are coming, and there's this story. And for you not to miss, and for you to be able to locate those songs and those interviews and conversations easily, subscribe to this channel. So subscribe and also hit the bell there, so that every time we upload an episode, you're the first person to be notified and you are able to watch as the first person. So today here on our today's episode, I'm going to have an interview with one very important person, a person who is less spoken about, who is less known, but has greatly influenced the Catholic music here in Kenya. He's a person who is greatly responsible of bringing the Tanzanian music into the Kenyan music scene, and muziki wenyewe wa Kikatoliki ukakita mizizi na hata wa sasa tunauimba. I'm speaking about none other than Father Chrisanth Mugasha of the Order of Apostles of Jesus. Yes, his name is always gotten wrong by most people, by others calling him Clement Mugashi, others Clement Mugash, and today I'm bringing him to you so that you get to know him, you get to get his name right. And for all those who had published his work before we did Kama Ayala song, I'm calling upon all of you to do the necessary changes to his name so that we can attribute to work to its rightful owner. This is Sallies. Karibu sana, and please subscribe so that you don't miss other stories. And this is the story of Father Crescent Stephen Mugasha of the Order of Apostles of Jesus.
My names are Father Chrisanth or Chrysanthus in Latin, Mugasha, given name, and Stephen was my father, or is my father. Now, some people call me Crescent or Crescent because when I started the seminary in Nairobi, they did not know the name Chrisanth. They had not heard some. So if you look at my first documents in the congregation are written Crescent, Crescent, Crescent. But later I had to correct it. And of course the email I keep Crescent or Crescent. And even in some music I have composed, you will see Crescent, Stephen Mugasha. But the real baptismal name is Chrisanth, Chrysanthus, Stephen Mugasha. I was born in 1958, August 30th, 1958. I am a Tanzanian. I was born in Tanzania, the region of Kagera, which is now Kagera region. By then it had not changed. The name changed after the war of Amini. That's when they changed it to Kagera region because of the river. I think that was a bone of contention. Otherwise it used to be West Lake region. So Bukoba, which borders Uganda in the north, and in the east, Lake Victoria, in the west, Rwanda and Burundi. That corner of Tanzania is where I was born, and it's called Bukoba, from the Rubia parish, the famous Rubia parish. First, I should say our parents were very religious, and their way of life and their relation to the church made us what we are now. And even our vocations, or my vocation, starts from there. I remember one day, my mother challenged us, having known that we loved like priesthood. We would play like celebrating masses. Of course, after what we had seen in the church, one day she challenged us, and I don't forget that. She asked me and my young brother, or she gave us a challenge. She said, whoever of you two is going to cry and shed more tears is going to become a priest. So we started crying, and my brother beat me. He cried more and shed more tears. And my mother concluded he was going to become a priest. And I remember I was not happy. I was not happy. But just to tell you how we started when we were young. And of course later, when I joined the seminary, my brother was still alive. My young brother, who had beaten me. And I remember joking with him. You see, you cried more and shed more tears. My mom or our mother, who was still alive, said you are going to become a priest, and now I'm going to become. Apart from that, our parents, because of their faith, they sent almost all of us to the mission schools. There were schools near our home where we could walk like 5 minutes, but they sent us to a mission school, which was 5 kilometers, if not 5 miles away. And I am sure that contributed a lot, because seeing people going for masses at the parish near the school, and then that parish and the schools happened to be in the vicinity of the minor seminary, Form 6, or Rubia Seminary. And of course, the seminary environment was sacred. We were not allowed to just interfere there. Maybe only when we went for football or soccer, or whenever there was a celebration. So my first inspirations of becoming a priest, I think, also gets its root from being near the seminary, because we loved the seminary, we loved the priests. And I can jump and say, from my primary school to secondary school, from Form 1 to Form 4, or ordinary level, and 5 and 6, or high school, or advanced level, all I was in mission schools, of course, boys' schools. And all of them had priest chaplains, and they had churches. We used to sing a lot, from 5 up to 6. And of course, especially Form 1 up to Form 4, 5 and 6, I was the choir master throughout my education, because I loved the singing, drumming, and by then I had not known how to use the notes, of course. From the time when I was young, I had wanted to join the seminary, as you heard in my story of wanting to become a priest. And by then, you were supposed to join when you are around 14. But it happened that around that age, I was transferred to another school, from Rubia to another school where my brother was staying alone. They wanted me to keep company with him. So I asked for the transfer, and it was given. I was transferred from Rubia primary school or middle school to Nyakatanga. But before the certificates of transfers or papers got to a new school, when they went for stamping at the district level, they got lost. They never came back. So I could not continue with Rubia primary school or go to Nyakatanga, where I was to be transferred to, because I had no papers. For 2 years, I stayed in the village. I could not join the seminary anymore, because by then I was beyond 14. And finally, I succeeded to begin school again from class 5, where I had left from. And in 1981, I joined a secondary school, Ihungo Secondary School, formerly known as the St. Thomas More College. When I was at St. Thomas More College, or Ihungo Secondary School, our chaplain, I remember Father Jovini Bakekera, but all of them, those chaplains, about 3, encouraged me in what I was aspiring to. But I remember Father Jovini Bakekera said, when I said I want to join the seminary after Form 4, he advised me to go up to Form 5 and 6 first. And during my life in ordinary level secondary school, or Form 1 to Form 4, I was always in the church. I was the choir master. I was using the chamber of the church or office as my office, as well as studies. And I remember reading many books, all the books of faith, especially moral theology and systematic theology. So I got to taste a bit of those things when I was still in primary school. Some used to confuse me with a seminarian. Some could even call me fratel, or a brother who is aspiring to be a priest. So I followed the directives of Father Jovin, and luckily enough, I succeeded to pass, to go to high school. That is Tosamaganga High School in Iringa, or Aramano, St. Aramano, or Blessed by Aramano by then. It was by luck that when I went there, I was told, and with some of my colleagues who are interested in vocation, that there was a section. There was a group of students who wanted to become priests. And they had a specific club where they could meet, pray together, get some instructions from the priest and the sisters. So I joined that club. And that club was like a minor seminary itself. We received priests from different parts around, who some tried to introduce us to the congregations and the brotherhood. By then I didn't know brotherhood or congregations. So I remember a priest called Father Alphonse Muhamirawa one day gave us a list of congregations in case we want to join congregation apart from diocesan life. And among these was Apostles of Jesus. But I remember he said, when you join Apostles of Jesus, you have to go to study outside for 5 years before you come back. Which of course later I discovered it was not true. The test for me, and the test I put to myself, because we were told in our club of Tosamaganga Vocational Club to join the seminary after high school on the, of course, national service, you have to pass to go to the university. That was one of the criteria. I remember saying to myself and telling God, let this be the test. If I pass the examination to go to the university, then I will know you are calling me. But if I fail, because science, because I took chemistry, biology, and geography, were hard subjects to pass. So I put that question, that test to God. If I pass the examination to go to the university, then I will know I have a vocation. And much of my time at Tosamaganga or Aramano, Blessed Aramano, was in the church. And of course, I was the choir master. All those shaped me. And thank God. Of course, the examination was tough, and very few expected to pass to go to the university. But when I was for national service at Ruvu camp, the results came out, and I had passed to go to the university. And of course, later I received an admission letter to go to Sokoine University of Agriculture, because when you are in Form 6, there are self-forms which you fill where you want to go. So I had failed. I remember Makerere University. I wanted to take food technology, and then Sokoine University of Agriculture, of course, that was agriculture, and agriculture was one of my best. And the CBG, chemistry and biology, chemistry, geography, and biology allowed for that combination. So when I received the results, I knew I had a green light now to join the seminary. I remember when we finished the national service, 1 year of national service, when I was at home, I received the forms to join Sokoine University of Agriculture. And meanwhile, I had also applied to join Bukoba Diocese to become a priest there. During that time of my holiday, I was informed that the seminary, Ntungamo Seminary of Philosophy, was full. I couldn't join. I don't remember if they told me to wait for another year. So what I did is go back to the ashram, wait for because the Sokoine University, by then I think they had joined. And I had applied to join other institutions like marine engineering. I think there was an institute to do with wildlife. So I went to my brother in the ashram to wait for those. And as I was waiting, I finished a year waiting because I did not go to Sokoine University of Agriculture. Now, the following year, I think because seeing that I did not go to Sokoine University of Agriculture, they called me to join marine engineering in Kunduchi, where I could study marine life. And of course, later I discovered you can also be a captain of the ship. But I didn't go immediately. I waited. Meanwhile, I applied to go to the Apostles of Jesus when I was in the ashram, because Kawe Parish, which happens to be in the ashram, was run by the apostles. And when I was for national service, because of love for music, we used even to escape with my friend who is now a priest, and the parish priest in one of the parishes in Bukoba. We used to escape to go to Kawe Parish, which is close to the national service camp, to join the choir. And of course, that's where I met my favorite, one of the favorite musicians, Basiri Enduru Lukando, who composed many songs. And many of people, of course, I taught some, like Furaha yangu ni kubwa sana, nikupe nini Mungu wangu. That's where because we are together in the same year national service, but different camps. He had an accident. He stayed at Kawe Parish. As he recuperated from sickness, he was playing the organ and composing songs. So when I finished the national service, went back home, I could not join the Diocesan Seminary. I came to the ashram. I used to attend Mass at Kawe Parish, where when we were still for national service, we used to escape and go for choir training and singing. So I applied to the Apostles of Jesus, and I waited for almost 2 years, because first of all, my passport got lost. I applied for the passport, it got lost. The letter calling me to go to Nairobi for philosophy did not come in time. 2 more years after national service waiting. So 1 year after national service of waiting to go to any college, and of course going to Kawe for Mass and joining the choir. And then the second year after national service, they called me to join Kunduchi Marine Engineering. I studied there for only 3 months, and then a letter came from Nairobi inviting me to go to join philosophy. I told the principal of the college of Kunduchi Marine Engineering that before I went to Kunduchi Marine Engineering, I had applied to join the seminary, and that was my first. So I asked for permission to be allowed to. I had loved marine engineering. Even if you saw my notes and everything and the gears, you couldn't believe I was going to leave. We were only 18 plus one girl who later became a captain of the ship, Victoria. So the college had seen how I was living. They knew, yes, he is serious about it. So I remember they wrote a short but nice letter allowing me to go to the seminary. My brother, who was by then living in the ashram at Rugaro camp, and I was staying with him, discouraged me. He said, I should have finished marine engineering, and then he went to the seminary. I said no. I don't remember saying no, but I think he could tell I was not ready for that. So what remained is to prepare myself and go to Nairobi. During my stay at Kawe Parish, which was run by Apostle of Jesus, I was singing, and of course, Basil and Rukand, who was a composer, was my friend. He was playing the organ, I was conducting. 1 year, one of the 2 years, I was attending Mass there. You know, in Tanzania, if it is a responsorial psalm of Sunday, you can't sing any other song. You have to sing that. If there is no song which is known, then you have to compose. It happened that Basil was not there, and the others, I was kind of choir master. I composed my first song. And when the people heard it in the church, I remember, they asked who composed that song. The responsorial psalm. And of course it was sung by other choirs later, but and I taught it in Nairobi when I went for philosophy, but now it is no longer heard. But it went, Bwana. That's the song I was singing at a certain time when I was playing drum. Bwana ni nani atakayeka katika hema yako. It goes like that, and I have it here. I wrote it because I loved it. So, by the time I left Kawe to go to join philosophy, I had a knowledge of notes, and because I used to be a choir master, as I told you. During national service, with friends, especially Father Benezet, who is a parish priest of, should be Itawa Parish in Bukoba now, we used to go with guns, papers, and pens. Each time we were on duty to guard or doing anything, we would compose songs. So by the time I left for philosophy, I had a knowledge of music, but not really what I came to know about music later. It is when I joined philosophy. Of course, when I went to Nairobi, I was late. Arriving in Nairobi, the class of philosophy, which I would have joined, was 3 months already in the class. So I was sent to go to Meru, where we were running a school and later a novitiate. And all those added experience not only to my music, but also teaching. The subjects I was taking in high school, chemistry, biology, and geography, I went to teach at one of our schools, and that is St. Joseph. I saw God in the delay, because I became an expert in English because of teaching, and also knowledge in biology, chemistry, and geography. When time reached for us to join, to start another year of philosophy, 1990. Now I went to join philosophy. But a class which I would have joined was ahead. Remember, I go back. When I finished high school, no, before that, my papers were lost when I was transferred to another school. 2 years were lost. I began again from class 5. Now, after national service, instead of going direct to the seminary, 3 years after national service lost. When I went to Nairobi, I was 3 months late. So, whole year. So finally, time came in 1990. I joined philosophy. I joined philosophy at Langata. I came when I was fully equipped in English and of course science. I remember some priests asked me if I would be able to do theology, because theology has to do with the philosophy, and the theology are subjects which are more or less to do with the art. They are more like arts. I told them I would try, because I had studied science. So the knowledge of science, a bit of marine engineering, a bit of music. And of course, the time I was outside, when I was delayed, I was also teaching many subjects, even English. So all those prepared me. When I started philosophy, I remember, maybe I should say, I passed with the summa cum laude in philosophy, first class. I knew I had collected a lot of experience from where I delayed from. But music now, coming to Langata for philosophy, with my music, with all that experience, of course, a bit of notes, I found the whole seminary, when it came to Sunday, only a few choir members in the seminary, few choir members. They said they were choir members and they were the ones to sing. Others are for practice, or in the choir, others are doing other activities. I didn't like it. And of course, I loved the singing at Langata by then. And although I had my own tastes in the song, slowly, I should say in 1 year, I began now teaching. And I think it didn't take a year before they elected me a choir master. And that, until when I finished the philosophy, up to theology, I was a choir master. I started teaching. And the style, the approach of singing happened to be a little bit different, because maybe I had come from Tanzania. And our seminary combined different countries. People could come with their own style of singing and everything. And Tanzania, of course, had been known for singing. So when I started teaching, slowly, I kind of changed the culture. I started slowly. And later they could see this one is really gifted in music. So they accepted. I used to teach even up to those who are deacons. They would listen to me because my approach was... and I had known different composers, some of which I would tell you are my favorite. So I had all those songs from different... And when I was in school, in parishes, that culture and approach not only took root in the seminary, but whenever students of the seminary went to teach outside, and of course later ourselves, I did my pastor when I was in the novitiate in Mombasa. And of course, I had worked in Nairobi and in Meru. And all those who went taught the types of songs I had taught. I had you respond when I say, Furaha yangu ni kubwa sana. Those are the songs I brought.
From Tanzania.
Nikupe nini Mungu wangu. That approach. Now, I had known musicians like, and even sing them, Mugandu, who are very popular. Liheta, Basil Rukando himself. But one of my favorites was Kayeta. I don't know whether you have heard what you call St. Anna Mass.
Yes.
Bwana, Bwana, Bwana utuhurumie, na utuhurumie, 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 Bwana utuhurumie. So now I'm telling you the songs, that type. I'm the one who brought them. Wow. They spread. Later I came to know Makoye. Makoye was another composer who came up, and his approach was, especially when it came to counterpoint. Counterpoint are the songs which, instead of singing one voice, others keep other voices entering. And you see that in Kama Ayala,
Yes.
So, I taught many songs in the masses of Makoye, and his songs, especially Utukufu or Gloria, or Glory to God, were not repeating themselves. And it was the instruction of the church up to now. Gloria is a prayer. You don't repeat it. Just like our Father. Just like Creed. You sing them direct. Now, Makoye was good at that. And in the songs, he could put counterpoint. You will not find anywhere, if a song is long, where they are singing playing up to the end. They must counter each other. And I love that. Now, if you look at all my songs, so Kama Ayala, I think what touches people, not only the melody, not only the words, but the counterpoint. Because of that repetition, it makes the song more touching.
Yes.
It's kind of insist. Kama Ayala. So, just, you see, you are a kind of my product. You are if I was to repeat many songs I have taught, just many like you. Many like you. And now, the seminar itself became, almost everybody became interested in singing because of the approach and everything. Thank God. When I came to the seminary, there was a professor at choir who happens to come from Tabora, Tanzania. And people of Tabora, Tanzania are musicians naturally. But for him, he had taught in the seminaries before he went to Louvain and Austria to study theology. And of course, he added music. And he excelled. Although he said his specialization was playing. But if he composes or he had, although later I came to discover, he is a musicologist. He can analyze the music by nature. He can listen and tell you this is this. This, what you have done is this. That is anacrusis. He will tell you many things. Of course, slowly we became like him. Some of us, not me. We can say a lot. Maybe we will have something special to talk about in Nyamiti. But when I came to the seminary, I started to study music systematically. And he discovered that I was talented. He encouraged me. Now, that made my life of study, both philosophy and theology, disciplined one. I had no time. I am either composing songs, teaching songs in the class, studying theology. Sometimes you could not see the sun. Because when you start classes with Father Nyamiti, you have always to go with a piece of song you have composed. You have to go to play the whatever exercise he has given you to do. All that discipline made me, but we go back to music. When you see counterpoint, all those knowledges we have applied in music, apostles of Jesus, he is our teacher. Now, before I went to the seminary, he was already teaching others. But, as I said, because of my background and the love of music, when I combined with the knowledge from Professor Nyamiti, I kind of made others be forgotten. Even those who are teaching. Up to now, they became kind of forgotten. Because teaching songs now, I was the one to teach. Although I didn't, during Mass, I didn't like one type of song, for let's say Swahili songs. So we could invite others who have songs in other languages. Latin, of course Latin was there, English, and even vernacular languages. We always combined those at our Mass. But a greater part of the Mass was in Swahili, because people will automatically, if we are choosing songs for Mass, they will always choose. Those who attended ordinations to diaconate our seminaries or perpetual vows, they didn't want to stop, they did not stop coming. Whenever there was an event, they always came because of singing. Be it a funeral of a priest or whatever. Many people, because they knew they were going to hear a special singing. And by then, of course, I was conducting. So we had many organists, but I specialized in conducting. Because, you know, you have taught a complex song, like, Bwana, Bwana, you have to conduct it. Although I could play, but much of my specialization was conducting. And if people knew me, not only at the seminary, those who came because of my conducting. Because after Mass, some would come to greet me and see who I am. Well, I'm not a dramatist when I'm conducting. I just go by solemn conducting, but still people would love it. And when I'm conducting, I will really conduct people according to what and how I have taught. So it's a kind of intense and thank God. You know, seminary life is supposed to be like that. They had to follow. I kind of developed in them a discipline. And if I said, when I came to the seminary, only a clique of people were slowly, I influenced the whole seminary to attend choir practice and to sing. So when you went like to a shrine to sing, you have soprano here, you have alto here, you have bass, the whole church. Now you can imagine, it's like an orchestra.
The whole church is a choir.
Singing. And sometimes, you know, when you are conducting, you don't conduct only, you're just conducting there. That spirit continues in the Apostle of Jesus. So we have Professor Nyamiti, who made many of us become musicians. And of course, the culture I brought, which changed the whole approach of singing and spread, especially throughout Kenya. With each corner you go, I would sing those songs. If I sing 10, I'm sure you'll get 8 of them, you know. So we spread that culture. And it made our study of theology also easy. Because, you know, as St. Augustine said, singing well is praying twice. Whoever sings well prays twice. And you know, singing is not only a prayer which is just, it touches you, it enters you. You are taken by the music. You feel it. So it kind of helps you to live a life which is kind of somewhere high in spirituality. That's why those who discovered the singing and they entered the mood, they are always thankful whenever they meet me. The life of the seminary changed. We were happy people. I can't tell you, right from philosophy up to theology, we had hiccups. Our class, because I was from that class, nearly the whole class was singing. And many of them adapted music. We were the happiest people. I remember one day we sang. And the superior of the congregation happened to attend Mass in the Philosophicum. After Mass, he gave us 10,000 Kenyan money. I think it was in 91. 10,000.
That was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. But each time we sang, always people wondered. And there is a time, if I can go up to theology, we were even invited up to Holy Family Basilica to sing. I remember we sang a Mass, funeral Mass of, a requiem Mass of somebody important. But you will see people where this is special. And at a certain time we could combine not only organ and kayamba, but adungu. You know adungu?
Adungu, yes. It's a traditional percussion.
That one, at a certain time, although now we are kind of abandoning it, but we are encouraging to come back. When the apostles, in their habit, sing well and they combine with adungu, that's when you can see a religious congregation of the Apostles of Jesus. Yes. I remember, I've been in the US for 15 years. In our singing, Some people use it. When I conducted, they forget about the other things. They look at me, come to take photos and the videos. But what I wanted to say, the singing itself, especially when we sang with the Adungu, because we took a set of Adungu there. And I'm sure they are still doing it. They could see a congregation which is very special. Our habits and the people playing Adungu, the organ and the singing well. So, I should say, even now in America we are known because of singing. But if you go back, Kenya generally, because our seminary is there, major seminaries, and then people go for apostolate, go for pastoral, and they teach songs. We have influenced the whole of Kenya, even the approach, the organ, the way of singing, and everything. I remember when I worked at Ikinu Parish, one day, all the religious priests, of course sisters too, we went to attend mass with the late Archbishop Ndingi Mwananzeki at, we used to call it Muji wa Furaha, now it is different. And we attended mass at the parish, is it Immaculate Conception, something like that, at the seminary. During the singing, the choir which sang was being conducted by immediately I saw the sash and everything. And you know what? During communion, they sang Kama Ayala.
We'll come to that song.
Okay. Yeah. So, that culture, although it was fast, but we have spread that culture. Now, not only in Kenya, but Uganda also. You'll find in each corner, parish where we are, people sing the song. Actually, what I do is listen. Are they singing this song correctly? That's what I normally do. If I'm able to correct, I do. I do. Tanzania, not very much, because Tanzania has many composers, and the choirs in Tanzania are. But songs like Kama Ayala, you will not miss it in the big celebrations also these days. Some are not really my students through teaching. They were my students of philosophy. I was teaching them, but I inspired them. And of course, I used to be strict on how they should play, how they should sing, and they came out best. Some we had mentioned them, like Fulgence Swai. You call him Tumaini? He was a good organist. And I was fearing he was going to leave the apostles and with that talent. And it happened when I had left for US. He did not continue with us. Because each time he played, you would know they are going to steal him. They are going to steal him. So that is one. I think in the same class was Chairo Rwande Mukani. He was gifted. One day he played, I think maybe it was Sifuni Yesu Mwokozi enyi malaika mkeni mfalme wa wote kamvike kilemba. After mass one day he was playing it. And as you said, come and that's when I knew he was playing always, but when he played that, the science, the technical part of it, you could see his. And all those grew to know music and they develop it the way they. Of course, they had started some like him from the main seminary at Xeriani with Father Prosper. Father Prosper was my classmate, and he's a good composer. So they had started from Xeriani. About Swai, maybe he started also from Uru Seminary in Tanzania. But when they came, I used to be a little bit strict when it came to singing, how to play, how to. And so those two, I'm proud of them.
And they're making making you proud.
Very proud. There is also Godfrey Amobi. He is, I don't know whether he's still an assistant parish priest at St. Cecilia in New York, where he stayed for some time. And he's still playing classical music there and teaching the choir in New York. I even proposed to the authority that some of our young people would go for music. And he was number one, I gave the name. He would go for studies and also combine music. But it didn't happen. So Godfrey Amobi is a Ugandan, is one of them. And then there is Kizito, Father Kizito Oyimungu. He was here. He was once, not long ago, maybe an immediately former Secretary General of our congregation. But he's now in Uganda here. He's another good, not only an organist, but composer and a teacher of music. There is another one in Tanzania. People thought he was my brother. They thought Father Chris is the brother of Father Paul. Why? Because he kind of mimicked me. And they succeeded, of course. He might even had done better, especially when it comes to conducting. When he went to Meru, they asked, are you relatives? Now, that one, even when he's walking, and when he starts talking about the music, you will feel...
You feel like you are the same person.
Yes, yes. So he's a parish priest at the cathedral in Bunda. And because of that love, I invited him in the US. One of the season, when I wanted to come for holiday, I invited him to cover me. And he was very grateful. So that relationship and the love came from music. And the way he picked the music the way I want it. And maybe even excel better than myself. One day, if we are able to visit his parish in Musoma, Tanzania, Bunda, you will tell me, the choirs themselves. So, those whom I'm proud of, they have really made a lot of fruits coming out of them. There are many. There are many of them. And some are not my students, but we are kind of contemplative. We grew up together in the class of Nyamiti, and Father Deogracias Ruegasira, who is in the US, has composed, I told you, the Divine Mercy and the other songs. Actually, we were to record some of the songs together, but the time and the choir, in America, choirs are not the way we are here. You must pay them. You can't just call people to sing. So we failed. So, Deogracias Ruegasira, even as we talk, I shared about your coming, and I had some questions to make. Because he's passionate just like me. And he happens to come from my diocese, and we are family friends.
Oh, what a beautiful story. It is not the end, because we have not talked about his compositions. Yes, he's a great composer and he has great compositions, and you can get him if you would wish to go to the studio with your choir or as a solo artist or as a group and you want to record his songs. That is what I'm going to bring you next, about the songs that he has composed, including Kama Ayala, a song we all love. Umeniumba kwa ajili yako, ndio maana sishibishwi, utanituliza nafsi yangu, Mungu wangu uliye hai. We love that song. He's the composer. He's going to tell us how he composed the song, how, yes, inspired he was at the time of composing this song, because I feel it's a song that was well contemplated, going to the verses, going to the chorus, and we are going to talk about that next. And also, yes, the people he has inspired in his life. Do not miss out that episode. Subscribe, and be a part of this family so that you don't miss out our subsequent stories. This is Matu Sally, na nakuaga nikikujuza kwamba we also have a sister channel where we put our music. Yes, it is known as Matu Sally Music Media. Look for Matu Sally Music Media on YouTube and subscribe too, because we are about to bring you another song that is going to inspire you, to bless you, and also to increase your music library. This is Mugasha. Till next time, God bless.